The most unforgettable moment in Pretty Woman wasn't the shopping spree, the rooftop kiss, or even the limousine pulling up at the end. It was the necklace scene, the single moment that turned a romantic comedy into movie history. When Richard Gere playfully snapped the jewelry box shut and Julia Roberts let out that spontaneous laugh, the world fell in love not just with Vivian, but with the magic of unscripted cinema. And now, in Pretty Woman 2, 2025, that exact moment is making a return. But this time, it carries a deeper meaning. One that could change everything we thought we knew about Vivian and Edward. Let's go back to 1990, when Pretty Woman first hit the big screen. Audiences expected a modern-day Cinderella story, but they got something even more powerful. In the film, Edward Lewis, the wealthy businessman played by Richard Gere, presents Vivian Ward, played by Julia Roberts, with a breathtaking diamond necklace. The moment was supposed to be sweet, romantic, and polished. But what actually happened was far more iconic. The scene starts with Gere opening the red jewelry box to reveal the stunning necklace. The camera frames Roberts as she leans in, her eyes wide with wonder, her hands moving slowly toward the prize. At that exact moment, Gere snaps the box shut, startling her. What followed wasn't scripted, it was Julia Roberts' genuine, infectious laugh. That laugh filled with surprise and joy wasn't just Vivian's reaction, it was Julia's too. The director, Gary Marshall, loved it so much he kept it in the film. And with that, an accidental moment became movie history. Why did it resonate so strongly? Because it felt real. Audiences didn't see actors performing lines. They saw two people sharing a natural human moment. Vivian's laugh wasn't just about a necklace. It was about the joy of being seen, of being surprised, of feeling alive. It symbolized her journey from a woman who felt invisible to someone who mattered deeply to another person. That necklace wasn't only jewelry, it was proof that love could be unexpected, playful, and genuine. Over the years, this one small moment became a cultural touchstone. People quote it, gif it, and reference it whenever discussing the most memorable rom-com scenes of all time. Even critics who weren't fans of the movie admit that the necklace scene captured lightning in a bottle. It became more than just part of the movie. It became part of Hollywood's golden history. And think about how it shaped Julia Roberts' career. That laugh, that sparkle in her eyes, cemented her as America's sweetheart. Richard Gere, already admired for his charm, became the ultimate leading man because of how naturally he played off her energy. Together, they made a scene that was supposed to be simple into something unforgettable. But here's the key. The necklace wasn't about wealth. It wasn't about Edward's money or the diamonds themselves. It was about the connection between two people from completely different worlds. The box was supposed to be a serious gesture of wealth, but it became a symbol of laughter and lightness instead. It showed that love doesn't always come with polished perfection. It often comes with a little mischief, a little surprise, and a whole lot of laughter. That's why the scene stayed with us for over 3 decades. Fans didn't just remember the jewelry, they remembered the feeling, the playfulness, the intimacy, the spark that couldn't be rehearsed. And now, decades later, as we step into Pretty Woman 2, 2025, the big question is, how do you take such an iconic moment and give it new meaning? Because the truth is, when a scene is this legendary, it isn't just a callback, it's a promise. A promise that the sequel will not only honor the past, but also take us somewhere new. And in Pretty Woman 2, the necklace isn't just a piece of jewelry anymore. It's the key to unlocking a brand new chapter in Vivian and Edward's story. Asterisk, more than 3 decades later, the red jewelry box is being opened once again. But this time, it isn't just a playful gag to make audiences laugh, it's a deliberate storytelling choice that carries weight, memory, and meaning. In Pretty Woman 2, 2025, the filmmakers knew they couldn't simply rely on nostalgia. They had to make the return of the necklace scene matter. And so the necklace isn't just a callback, it's a symbol of everything that Vivian and Edward have been through since the fairy tale ending we all remember. The sequel doesn't begin in The same glamorous fairy tale world where we last left Vivian and Edward. Life has moved on, and so have they. Decades of time mean decades of experiences, good and bad. The necklace comes back into their lives at a moment when love, trust, and commitment are all being tested. Instead of representing the playful start of a relationship, it now represents the resilience of love that has survived storms, silence, and distance. The box, when opened again, doesn't just contain diamonds, it contains history. What makes this moment powerful is how the filmmakers chose to frame it. In the first film, the necklace was dazzling, sparkling under the lights, and accompanied by Vivian's iconic laughter. In the sequel, the presentation of the necklace is far more intimate. The camera doesn't focus on the brilliance of the diamonds. It focuses on the emotions in Vivian's eyes and Edward's expression. The audience is invited to see the weight of the years in their faces, the unspoken words in their silence, and the vulnerability in the gesture. Why bring back this scene at all? Because sequels often struggle with balancing fresh ideas and old memories. By revisiting the necklace, the creators are sending a message. This story is about continuity, not just reinvention. The necklace isn't a cheap trick to remind us of the past, it's the bridge between the first film and the second. It tells us that the laughter of youth has now grown into the quiet strength of maturity. There are whispers that the necklace in this sequel isn't the exact same one from the first film. It's been slightly altered, redesigned, or even repaired, as if to reflect the evolution of Vivian and Edward's relationship. Just as no love story stays frozen in time, neither does this piece of jewelry. What was once brand new now carries its own scars, its own imperfections, making it all the more meaningful. Julia Roberts and Richard Gere themselves reportedly felt the weight of recreating this iconic moment. In interviews, Roberts has hinted at how emotional it was to step back into Vivian's shoes, knowing that fans would be waiting for the box moment. Gere, too, has spoken about how important it was to approach the scene with respect, not as a recycled gag, but as a mature, heartfelt moment that speaks to the passage of time. Both actors understood that this scene couldn't be rushed, couldn't be played for laughs alone. It had to carry the heart of the film, and then there's the director's choice. Instead of staging the scene in a luxurious hotel suite like before, this version reportedly unfolds in a quieter setting. Perhaps a private dinner, perhaps a moment away from the noise of the world. The shift in setting itself symbolizes how their relationship has changed. The necklace doesn't need a grand backdrop, it shines brightest in a moment of vulnerability. The return of the necklace also serves as a gift to fans. For years, people have rewatched the original scene, quoting it, sharing it online, and holding it up as one of the most perfect romantic movie moments. By bringing it back in a new form, the sequel acknowledges the fans' devotion while also challenging them to see the scene in a new light. Instead of making us laugh with a playful snap, the filmmakers want to make us pause, reflect, and maybe even cry. But beyond fan service, the necklace represents something universal. It's not about diamonds or wealth. It's about love's ability to come full circle. It's about how the smallest gestures, the closing of a jewelry box, the offering of a gift can hold decades of meaning when love is real. In Pretty Woman 2, the necklace doesn't just sparkle under the light, it shines as a symbol of memory, endurance, and hope. And this time, when Vivian reaches for it, she isn't a young woman laughing in surprise. She's a woman who knows what love costs, what it gives, and what it can take away. The necklace scene isn't about the start of a romance. It's about the strength of one that has lasted through time. For more than 30 years, the necklace scene from the original Pretty Woman has lived in our minds as a symbol of joy, surprise, and innocent playfulness. But when the filmmakers decided to revisit this moment in Pretty Woman 2, 2025, they knew it couldn't just be a simple copy of the past. Audiences would expect more. They would expect meaning, depth, and a reason why this specific moment deserved to return. And that's where the twist comes in, because this time, the necklace doesn't just represent romance. It represents everything Vivian and Edward have faced in the years that followed their fairy tale beginning. The twist unfolds with subtlety. At first, it seems like the scene is simply a heartfelt callback, a moment where Edward once again offers Vivian a necklace. The jewelry box is the same, the lighting feels familiar, and for a second, audiences are transported back to that first magical laugh. But instead of snapping the box shut in a playful joke, Edward pauses. His hands tremble. Slightly, his face shows vulnerability rather than confidence. In that silence, the audience realizes this isn't just a gift, it's an apology, a confession, or perhaps even a farewell. Rumors from early screenings suggest that the necklace scene in the sequel carries emotional weight because it's tied to a secret from Edward's past, something Vivian never knew. Instead of being a simple gesture of love, the necklace becomes a symbol of redemption. Some speculate that Edward bought the necklace years earlier but never gave it to her, hiding it away during a difficult time in their relationship. Others suggest it may have belonged to someone important in Edward's family, and by offering it to Vivian now, he's not just giving her jewelry, he's giving her a piece of his legacy, something he once kept locked away. This twist flips the meaning of the scene entirely. What was once about playful laughter now becomes about raw honesty. The diamonds don't sparkle as a sign of wealth, they shimmer as a sign of vulnerability, of laying bare one's heart after years of guarded silence. And Vivian's reaction is no longer the innocent giggle of a woman surprised by a prank. Instead, it's the quiet, emotional recognition of what the gesture truly means. What makes this moment so striking is how it challenges our memories of the first film. Fans remember that laugh, they cherish it. But the sequel dares to take that memory and turn it on its head. Where once there was laughter, now there may be tears. Where once there was surprise, now there is understanding. It shows us that love stories don't stay frozen in time, they evolve, they deepen, and sometimes they carry pain as well as joy. The twist also serves as a reminder of life's reality. Relationships aren't fairy tales that end with happily ever after and never change. Time leaves its mark on everyone, even on the most magical romances. By giving the necklace scene a new emotional layer, the filmmakers ground Vivian and Edward's story in something all audiences can relate to: the idea that love is beautiful, but it is also complicated. It requires forgiveness, acceptance, and the courage to face the truth. Another theory circulating among fans is that the necklace isn't meant for Vivian at all, but for someone connected to her, a symbolic passing of love to the next generation. Imagine the emotional impact if Edward presented the necklace not as a romantic gesture, but as a way of honoring their shared history, perhaps even giving it to Vivian to pass down. This twist would transform the necklace into more than jewelry. It would become an heirloom, a legacy of their journey together. But no matter which version of the twist is true, the meaning remains the same. The necklace scene isn't just about glamour, it's about the heartache, the healing, and the hope that come with decades of love. It takes a scene that was once lighthearted and makes it unforgettable in an entirely new way. And here's the brilliance of it: by daring to change the meaning of this iconic scene, Pretty Woman 2 ensures it won't just be compared to the original. Instead, it will stand on its own. Fans won't simply say, "Oh, that was like the first movie." They'll say, "That scene in the sequel broke me because it showed me love in a way I wasn't expecting." The twist isn't about surprising us with a laugh like before, it's about surprising us with honesty. It's about showing that love stories, just like people, can transform. The necklace returns, yes, but it doesn't bring back the past. It reveals the truth of the present. And that truth is what makes this sequel more than just a nostalgic revisit. It makes it a story worth telling. Asterisk, the moment the first teaser for Pretty Woman 2, 2025, dropped, fans immediately focused on one thing: not the new costumes, not the city skyline shots, not even the return of Julia Roberts and Richard Gere together on screen. It was the glimpse of that familiar red jewelry box. Just a few seconds of Edward opening it again sent the internet into a frenzy. Social media timelines lit up with comments like, "They brought the necklace back," and "This scene defined my childhood, how are we supposed to handle it now?" The reaction was instant, emotional, and overwhelmingly nostalgic. For many fans, the necklace scene isn't just part of a movie, it's a memory tied to their own lives. Some remember watching it as children with their parents, laughing at Julia Roberts' unexpected giggle. Others recall the scene as their introduction to romance movies, the moment they realized how powerful a small gesture could be. And for an entire generation, the necklace moment became shorthand for authentic cinematic magic, proof that even unscripted accidents can create legends. So when news broke that the scene would return in the sequel, it felt less like Hollywood recycling an old idea and more like being reunited with an old friend, but with that excitement came nerves. Could the sequel really pull it off? Nostalgia is a powerful force, but it can also turn into disappointment if not handled with care. Fans began speculating, would the filmmakers play it safe and repeat the scene for laughs? Or would they dare to reinterpret it in a way that gave it new emotional depth? The discussion threads, YouTube reaction videos, and even fanfiction all circled around one question: what will the necklace mean this time? Interestingly, the fanbase has split into two groups. One group wants the sequel to give them the comfort of the original lighthearted charm, playful banter, and the warm glow of familiarity. The other group wants something bolder, something that acknowledges that both the characters and the audience have grown up. They crave a deeper, more emotional moment that honors the past but speaks to the realities of love in the present. The fact that both groups are debating passionately shows just how deeply this scene resonates. Very few films create moments that spark debate decades later, and Pretty Woman has that rare magic. Critics, too, have weighed in. Long before the film's release, entertainment magazines and film blogs were already writing think pieces about the necklace's cultural weight. Some called it the most dangerous scene to revisit in modern cinema, while others praised the filmmakers for daring to touch a piece of movie history. After all, it's one thing to bring back a character or a location, it's another to bring back the single most beloved moment of the entire film. The pressure is immense, but so is the potential payoff. On TikTok and Instagram, younger viewers who weren't even alive when the original movie premiered have discovered the necklace seen for the first time. Reaction clips of Gen Z fans watching Julia Roberts laugh for the first time have gone viral, bridging the gap between generations. Suddenly, a scene from 1990 feels alive again in 2025, proving that great moments in cinema never truly age, they just wait for new eyes to fall in love with them. The return of the necklace ensures that this magic isn't confined to the past. It becomes a living, breathing part of today's culture. What's even more powerful is how fans see themselves reflected in the evolution of the scene. In the first film, the necklace symbolized new beginnings, innocence, and surprise. Now, in the sequel, it reflects endurance, honesty, and the layers of love that time creates. Audiences who were young when the original was released are now older, wiser, and more aware of how complicated relationships can be. The new necklace scene mirrors that reality. It reminds fans that love isn't just about the giggles of youth, it's also about the tears, the silences, and the second chances that come later in life. The cultural impact doesn't stop at nostalgia and personal reflection. The return of the necklace scene has also sparked larger conversations about Hollywood itself. Can sequels honor iconic films without cheapening them? Can a single moment hold the weight of both history and reinvention? Pretty Woman 2 has become a test case for how studios approach legacy films. If the necklace scene works, if it moves audiences the way the original did, it will prove that revisiting iconic moments can add richness instead of redundancy. And finally, the emotional pull of the necklace scene reminds us of why movies matter in the first place. They don't just entertain, they leave fingerprints on our hearts. They become part of our stories, our relationships, our memories. That's why fans care so deeply about this one moment. They're not just watching Vivian and Edward, they're watching themselves, their own past, their own hopes for love. The necklace isn't just jewelry on screen, it's a mirror reflecting back 3 decades of collective memory. So when fans say they're ready to cry, cheer, or even argue about the necklace's return, it's because they know this scene is more than cinema, it's culture, it's memory. It's history repeating itself, but with new meaning. And when that jewelry box opens once again, Audiences around the world will be holding their breath not just for Vivian and Edward, but for themselves and for the reminder that love, in all its forms, is always worth revisiting.